Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Alex from Rants, and I want to talk about my reaction to TLC, December 14th, 2014, in Cleveland, Ohio. And overall, I thought it was a pretty decent event. And to be honest, my expectations for these pay-per-view events, unfortunately, nowadays are pretty low, but it was still a decent event. There were a lot of things that I liked, and there were some things that I found interesting. And I'm not going to really talk about the things that I don't care about or I didn't find interesting. So let's get right to it. The first match was between Luke Harper and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental title, and that match was a great match in my opinion. You could tell that both wrestlers pretty much put their bodies on the line. You see this huge gash on Harper's arm, and you could tell he's in pain, but he fought through it, and so that was pretty cool. And yeah, Ziggler, he usually puts on a good show. He definitely has a lot of good spots, and he's very talented, and you can tell that they're definitely both very hard workers. It's a good match, and I'm happy that Ziggler won the title. My only criticism of the match, even though it was great, my main criticism of the match was the way it ended. It didn't make much sense in my opinion. So you have Harper setting up his ladder, but to win the Intercontinental title, to make it look like he's about to win. But why not knock Ziggler off his, or push his ladder down first, and then set up your ladder to win? That didn't make much sense. Why did he leave Ziggler on his ladder while he was setting up his? So, I mean, he could have won. I know, I get it. It's part of the storyline, it's part of the script, but overall, it was a great match, but the ending didn't make much sense. Even though I was happy that Ziggler won. I like Harper too, but I like them both. Great match though overall. And also, I was surprised that that was the first match too. But they started off the show with a bang. All right. Rusev versus Swagger. I don't care about this match at all. So I don't even know why I brought it up. I just can't wait until they end the Russia storyline. It's old, it's boring. The best thing about Rusev is Lana. Lana's great on the mic. That's about it. And you know that storyline's going to end when Cena faces him. Rusev is just going to get fed to Cena, and that would be the end of it. And he'll be mid-card at best after that. So as much as I want that storyline to end, you know he's going to get fed to Cena somewhere down the line. So speaking of Cena versus Rollins, the match itself, in my opinion, wasn't necessarily a good match, but it did have some interesting moments, especially when Cena put Rollins through the table, but the ref was down, and obviously the ref didn't see it, and so the match went on, and another part of the match was when Rollins and Cena went through the table at the same time. That was interesting. One ref thought Rollins hit first, the other ref thought Cena went first. So they continued the match because they couldn't decide. And so that was an interesting moment in the match. But of course, and then all of a sudden, Big Show interrupts the match, interferes, attacks Cena. And a few moments later, Roman Reigns makes his appearance after a couple months of being injured. So it's good to see Reigns back, but I don't like the fact that he helped Cena win. Even though that may not necessarily been in his intent, I don't mind him getting payback against Rollins because they were feuding before Reigns got hurt. So it makes sense from a storyline perspective, but it indirectly helped Cena get the win and retain him being #1 contender to face Brock for the title. So good to see Reigns back. I just don't like the way he came back, if that makes any sense. So in the match itself, even though there was interesting moments in the match, it wasn't the greatest match. But at least there was interesting moments, and of course Cena has to win. Of course. They can't do anything different. It's always the same thing. Always. This guy's been on top for 10 years. Can't they ever alternate between guys? Okay, maybe Orton had it for a little while. Bryan had it for a little while before he got hurt. and it's a shame because he never really had a real title run, and who knows when he's coming back. But for the most part, Cena is always on top. It's ridiculous. I know Lesnar's technically on top right now, but that's ridiculous too because he's never there. He's not even making any appearances, and you know he's not going to have it long term, which is good in the aspect that he's never there. So you know Cena's just going to win it back, most likely. I'm sick of it. So that's enough about that match. And I'm going to talk about the main event. I'm so glad that one more thing. I'm so glad that match wasn't the main event because usually Cena is always in the main event. Almost always. Maybe not always, but almost always. So at least that match wasn't the main event. At least they gave Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt the main event, and that was one hell of a match. Even though Ambrose lost the match, which sucked, I like Bray Wyatt, but I wanted Ambrose to win. He needed this win badly. At least they made him look strong in the match. They didn't make him look weak. He jumped off the ladder, I think 3 or 4 times onto Bray Wyatt, onto the tables, and those were awesome spots. And each time he was climbing up the ladder higher and higher. It was crazy. It was crazy versus crazy. Unbelievable match. I thought it was a really great match. One of my favorite moments of the match was when, well, actually 2, or a couple. One, when Ambrose found that TV, I think it was under the ring, and he was looking at himself during the match, and you see him looking at himself on the big screen. So if you think about it, you're watching TV on your screen. You're watching him watch himself while watching himself on the screen on the jumbotron. So I mean that was a funny moment. That was interesting, and I thought that was creative. And also the moment where he kissed Bray Wyatt on top of his head after he jumped through the table onto him, that was crazy too. And like kind of mocking Bray Wyatt when he did that. But at the same time, I was wondering, even though he's mocking him, at the same time, I was wondering if that was a signal, like a subtle signal to be like, you okay, man? You right? Like after that move, who knows? But that was pretty cool. And the TV came back at the end of the match where it just like exploded in Ambrose's face, and then Wyatt gets to win. The way it ended was pretty cool. I mean, I don't think I've seen that before, where a wrestler used a TV, or tried to use a TV, as a weapon against another wrestler. And the way it ended, like I said, was interesting. So, even though Ambrose lost, at least he looked strong in the match. But he badly needs a win next time he's in the main event. And at least he was in the main event. He badly needs a win next time at the next pay-per-view event, in my opinion, even though he looks strong. Now, there's some matches I didn't even bother talking about because I don't really care. I'm not interested. So, overall, I'd give this pay-per-view event, I don't know, 6 or 7. But, again, to have Cena almost always win, maybe he doesn't always win, but almost always win, come on. I think it would have been a lot more interesting if he lost, because it would have been cool to see where the WWE would have gone, like who would have been the new #1 contender. I think that would have had a lot of potential, storyline potential. They could have done a lot of different things there, but instead they gotta give Cena the win. And like I said, Reigns may not be directly helping out Cena, but he indirectly helped him out. So, anyways, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? What was your favorite moment of TLC, or one of your favorite moments? What did you like? What did you dislike? Feel free to follow me on Twitter at AlexGold14. Feel free to follow my group on Twitter at Rants. And yeah, we didn't make a prediction video this time. We didn't have time this time around, but we're definitely going to make time for the Royal Rumble. And we're going to make a prediction video for the Royal Rumble, definitely. So be on the lookout for that. Feel free to make comments, suggestions, give us questions. Any input is appreciated. Like this video, share it, tell your friends about us, tell your enemies, tell your cousins, brothers, monkeys, uncles. You get the point. I'm being weird. I'm a weirdo. But anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully, even though overall the show itself wasn't terrible, it was decent, but it could have been a lot better. Again, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.